Chapter 1. Evolution of Computer. Sam, look at the given pictures. Can you name them?
Yes, they are abacus and calculator.
Very good. Can you tell what are they used for?
These are used to count and calculate numbers.
You are absolutely correct. Let us read more about them.
Tech goals.
Learn about the evolution of counting and counting devices. Learn about the evolution of early calculating devices. Learn about the different generations of computers. Early counting. Early humans had developed ways to keep record of data and numbers. To keep a record of things, early men tied knots in a rope, carved marks on clay, drew lines on the walls of caves, etc. Then they started counting with pebbles, stones, sticks, and bones. They also used fingers and toes to count. With time, the system to measure things became more difficult. When the amount of work expanded, more people were needed to complete work in short span of time. This led to the invention of various calculating devices. These devices helped people to do complex calculations faster. All these gradually led to the invention of computer. Early counting devices. Abacus. The invention of abacus in China around 5,000 years ago was the first major step towards calculating devices. An abacus is a wooden frame with beads on parallel wires which can do simple calculations like addition and subtraction. It is still in use in some parts of China. This device is used to calculate numbers at a fast speed. Tech scoop. The person who uses the abacus is called as abacist. The plural form of this is abacists. Every day we talk about so many things related to devices and technological advancements. Have you ever wondered who created the first computer? Well, it is very difficult to say who created computer. The computer as we see it today was not made in a day. It has developed over centuries due to technological advancements. So, we cannot give credit to only one person for the invention of computers. Let us read how it all started. Napier's bones. Sir John Napier invented the calculating device called Napier's bones in the year 1616. It was made of bones, ivory, and strips of wood on which numbers were carved. Napier's bones was used for multiplication and division of numbers. Pascal adding machine. In 1642, Blaise Pascal, a French mathematician, invented the calculating machine Pascaline. It was made of toothed wheels connected by gears. Each wheel had 10 teeth for numbers from 0 to 9. The numbers were fed into the machine by dialing them on the wheels. This device is believed to be the first mechanical calculator of the world. This machine could do only addition and subtraction. Leibniz step reckoner. In 1672, a German mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz invented the digital mechanical calculator called step-reckoner. It was the first calculator that could perform all four arithmetic operations, that is, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Analytical engine. Charles Babbage, an English mathematician, made important contributions to the development of a mechanical computer. In 1822, he proposed a steam-driven calculating machine. It was as big as a room. He called it the difference engine. He worked on the project for 10 years, but the machine never became a reality. In 1833, he invented the analytical engine. It was the first ever working model of a mechanical computer. It was a fully program-controlled machine. It had two main parts, store and mill. The store was the section where numbers were held. Mill was where the numbers were calculated to give new results. In a modern computer, these same parts are called the memory unit and the central processing unit, CPU. Charles Babbage is also known as the father of computer. Early computer programming. The instructions given to Babbage's analytical engine were in the form of zeros and ones, and the first person to introduce this concept was Lady Ada Lovelace. Since she was the first to introduce the concept of programming, she is known as the first computer programmer in history. Herman Hollerith's tabulating machine. Herman Hollerith, an army engineer, built a machine called the tabulating machine in 1890. The machine read and stored data from punched cards. It was used in a census to count the population of USA. After the success of this machine, Hollerith formed a computing tabulating recording company to sell this machine in 1896. Later, in 1924, his company became a part of International Business Machines Corporation, which is today popularly known as IBM. Generations of computers. After these early calculating machines, the present computer took its shape in 5 generations. They are divided into different categories based on the technology that they used. First generation, 1940 to 1955. Some computers developed in first generation are Mark I, the first electro-powered computer. In 1944, Professor Howard Aiken built the first electromechanical computer named Mark I. This device was the first computer. It was 51 feet long, weighed 5 tons, and used punched cards and a typewriter for input and output. Mark I was much more reliable than the earlier electronic computers developed till now. ENIAC, the first electronic computer. ENIAC, or Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, was the first electronic general-purpose digital computer built in 1946 by John Macaulay and Presper Eckert. It contained over 20,000 vacuum tubes and was 1,000 times faster than Mach 1. It weighed almost 27,000 kg. ENIAC was 10 feet wide, 100 feet long, and occupied 1,800 square feet area. It could perform 5,000 additions per second that other computers would have taken many hours in the past. ENIAC consumed almost 200 kilowatt of power. It was designed to help the US Army in calculations for bombs and missiles. UNIVAC. UNIVAC, or Universal Automatic Computer, was another invention of John Macaulay and Presper Eckert in 1951. It was the first computer that could handle numeric data as well as text. The UNIVAC had 5,200 vacuum tubes, weighed around 13,000 kg and consumed 124 kilowatt of power. TechScoop. The UNIVAC was the first American computer designed for business and administrative use. Features of first-generation computer. The machines were made up of vacuum tubes. They generated a lot of heat. They were huge in size. They were very expensive. Input was given by punched cards and paper tapes. Output was displayed on printouts. The machines used magnetic drums for memory. They relied on machine language to perform. Second generation, 1956 to 1964. After 1955, two important inventions changed electronic computer. These were the magnetic core memory and the transistor. They improved the appearance and quality of computers. High-level languages like COBOL and Fortran were developed to work on these computers. During this period, the major computer manufacturers started offering a range of accessories such as page printers, cathode, ray tube display, card feeders, etc. Some examples are IBM 1401 and RCA 501. Features of second-generation computer. The machines were made up of transistors. They were faster and more reliable. They were smaller in size and less expensive than the first-generation computer. Magnetic tapes were used to store data. They used high-level languages such as COBOL and Fortran. Input was given by punched cards. Output was displayed on printouts. Third generation, 1965 to 1975. In the third generation, the silicon chips called integrated circuits (IC) were invented. IC are also known as chips. This led to the reduction in the size of computers. The computers were smaller than the computers in second generation. Option: these computers were smaller than the computers in second generation. They had better functioning and more storage. In 1971, Intel 4004, the first microprocessor, was invented. This was the starting point of personal computer industry. In 1974, Intel released the 8080 microprocessor, the brain behind the Altair, the first personal computer, PC. IBM 360 and 370 are series of mainframe computers invented in this generation. Apple I, released by Apple Computer Company in 1976, was an 8-bit desktop computer. Features of third-generation computer. These computers were made of ICs. The use of the ICs reduced the size and increased the speed of the computers. Users interacted with the computer through keyboards, monitors, and an interface called operating system. Computers could run many applications at the same time. They were more affordable and dependable. They were smaller and cheaper than the computers of the previous generations. Fourth generation, 1976 to 1985. In 1980s, very large-scale integration, VLSI, in which thousands of transistors placed on a single chip came into existence. IBM released their first line of desktop PC units, which used the Intel 8088 chip as their system brain. In 1983, IBM introduced the PC XT, which had more memory and more hard drive space. DOS version 2.0 was also released. In 1984, IBM introduced its AT, Advanced Technology Machine. In 1984, Microsoft released the first version of Microsoft Windows. Now, emails could be exchanged between offices. Examples are IBM PC and Apple Mac. Features of fourth generation computer. VLSI technology microprocessors were used. Machines were smaller in size. They could be placed on an office table. Portable hard disks to store data were fitted inside the computers. GUI operating system came into the picture. In GUI, operations and functions can be performed easily using a mouse or keyboard. After 1986, VLSI technology was used to develop more powerful microprocessors to improve the speed, size, cost, and performance of computers. In 1997, Intel introduced the MMX microprocessors, which were designed to improve game and multimedia performance. Today, the world of computer has become so vast that various kinds of personal computers are available with different sizes and features like desktop, laptop, palm top, tablet, etc. But now the focus has shifted to develop computers that can think. Fifth generation, 1986 to present. In this generation, researchers are focused on developing thinking computers or smart computers. This is also known as artificial intelligence, AL. You are also using some artificial intelligence applications such as voice or face recognition, thumb impression recognition, robots, etc. The goal of fifth generation computing is to develop devices that can respond to voice or input commands in natural languages and are capable of self-learning and self-organization. Some examples of AL are Siri, Alexa, Cortana, and Google Now. Features of fifth-generation computer. The machines use artificial intelligence to make decisions. They are portable because of their small size. They use optical disc to store data. The new versions of GUI operating systems are developed. Text summary. The early humans had developed ways to keep record of data and numbers. The invention of abacus in China around 5,000 years ago was the first major step towards calculating devices. Sir John Napier invented the calculating device called Napier's bones in the year 1616. In 1642, Blaise Pascal invented the calculating machine Pascaline. In 1672, Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz invented the digital mechanical calculator called step reckoner. Charles Babbage is known as the father of computer. He invented the difference engine and analytical engine. Herman Hollerith, an army engineer, built a machine called tabulating machine in 1890. Mark I was the first electromechanical computer. ENIAC, ENIAC, was the first electronic general-purpose digital computer built in 1946 by John Macaulay and Presper Eckert. UNIVAC was the first computer that could handle numeric data as well as text. Computers are divided into 5 generations based on the technology that they used.